If you're in your 30s and you have ever felt behind or lost, or like everyone else has their shit together apart from you, this video is for you. I want you to know this. You are not late. You are not behind. And your 30s can genuinely be the greatest decade of your life. But first, you have to decide that they will be. You have to decide to stop comparing your wins, your life, your milestones to anyone else's. You have to decide to embrace every chapter you're in, even if it feels like you are not moving forward. You have to decide to become the person who makes their 30s their favourite decade, not the person who waits around for the good shit to happen. I'm going to show you exactly how to make your 30s hot, happy and healthy for you, not for anyone else. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with a mantra, a vision and practical tools you can actually stick to without feeling overwhelmed. So grab a notebook, pour yourself a glass of something nice and get cozy, because you're going to want to listen to this. When you fail to decide who you're becoming, you end up waiting for the dream partner, waiting for the dream job, waiting for the confidence to magically appear one morning. But when you do decide, you thrive in the present as you strive for those big goals. You get to enjoy the now as you work towards the milestones. You feel happy, joyful, and grateful for where you're at, and you know it's okay to still want more for your life. This takes you out of that heavy lack energy that comes from focusing on all the things that you don't have, or where you aren't yet, or all the things that feel really far away. And I know this firsthand. At 29, my life fell apart. My plans to move to Bali with my boyfriend at the time disappeared overnight when he ended our 5-year relationship over a Facebook Messenger call. Suddenly, the life that I thought that I was going to have disappeared. Engaged by 30, living in the place that I'd had on my vision board since the first time I'd read Eat, Pray, Love, a thriving business that enabled me to continue living the laptop lifestyle that I'd worked so hard for. I couldn't have felt more behind in my life, and then my best friend announced that they were having a baby, and my younger brother got engaged, all within the space of 3 months. But choosing who I was going to become, rewriting my future story, and deciding to embrace this fresh start stopped me from allowing this bombshell to destroy my 30s. And here's the thing, when you do this work, it doesn't just change you. It changes how you show up in relationships, how confident you feel at work, even how people around you feel when they're in your presence. It is contagious. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. You could be just about to turn 30, or you could be in your 39th year. What matters is that you are making this choice right now. Wherever you are, deciding to make your 30s the greatest decade of your life will benefit you in so many ways. Instead of spending your life waiting for something to happen or wishing that things were different, you're taking control of the reins. You're choosing to move forward. So in 5 years' time, you won't be in a place where you are still waiting for things to just fall into your lap. You'll be celebrating how far you've come, having achieved those milestones, and with a whole host of new goals set on your vision board. You will naturally feel like you are thriving through life instead of just surviving your 30s. You'll sit on the sofa in the evening, curled up in a quiet moment of reflection, and actually be able to be grateful for where you are, even if it isn't where you want to be, knowing full well that you are taking those baby steps each day to the life that you truly desire. Even when you acknowledge that you are not where you want to be, you will still be able to feel good. You'll be more accepting of your present, and without living in that I should be here energy, you'll actually find it easier to take action to get you where you want to be. Another benefit is increased confidence and self-worth. Making the decision around who you're going to be in your 30s is empowering. It's inspiring, it's motivating. The first step to make any change in your life is deciding. There is so much power in decision. It can literally change your energy the second that you decide to change something. A few years ago, I found myself working for a company that was making me feel pretty miserable. My anxiety was through the roof. I felt physically ill most days, and I found myself working during the weekends to try and prove myself. My expertise was ignored, my suggestions were discarded, and every choice I was making was being questioned. I'd been hired as an expert, yet I felt like I was being treated as an intern. For a month, I found myself complaining to my friends, whining to myself about the situation, and I could feel my self-confidence slowly being chipped away. I knew I had a choice to make. Stay for the money or leave for my health. The moment I made the decision to quit, I felt like I got a little bit of myself back. I was taking control of my life. I was refusing to sit around and wait to see if things got better. I was choosing me. Not everyone understood my decision. They couldn't understand why I'd walk away from so much money, because that is the mentality that so many of us have been taught: to suck it up, to wait for something better, to make do with what we've got, to stay put just in case the grass isn't greener. After a short holiday with my friend, I slowly started rebuilding my confidence, and within a couple of months I felt like I was back to myself. That confidence came from me making a decision. Doing this work, following these steps, and deciding to make your 30s the greatest decade of your life ensures that you never settle for something that you are not all in on. Whether that is your career, a relationship, friendships, the way that you treat yourself, you will no longer be settling for what other people believe you should be okay with. You'll no longer settle for things that don't bring you joy or happiness. You'll no longer tolerate behaviours or habits that don't contribute to you living a happy, healthy life. This in turn helps you to become a better person in your relationships, including the relationship that you have with yourself. No one wants to be around the person who constantly complains about how unfair their life is. No one enjoys the company of someone who only ever has bad things to say about other people. And if you think about the law of attraction, i.e. like attracts like, if you're waiting around for good shit to happen, stuck in that I'm behind mindset or I'm late to life, if you're moping around about all the things that other people have or whining about how your life sucks, you will end up attracting the same energy to you. You could find yourself in an echo chamber of misery, of despair, of the it's not fair mentality. I dated someone once who was stuck in their current reality. They had no imagination, no desire, no ambition. And I remember asking them once if they would like to go on safari, and their response was, I can't afford it. And I was like, no, I'm not saying like, let's go on a safari tomorrow. I'm saying, is this something that you would like to do? And they said that it's something that they'd never thought about because they didn't have the money to do it. So what was the point in thinking about something they couldn't afford to do? They complained about their work life every single day. They judged people on social media. They moaned about how nobody works as hard as them. And they lived in this mindset of everything is so hard all the time. And that's one of the multiple reasons they were just someone I dated temporarily. That energy is not attractive. That energy doesn't make people want to be around you. And yes, life is hard at times. Yes, we all have struggles. Yes, there are genuine moments where it feels like we're behind or we're failing or like nothing is ever going to get any better. Yes, we do experience those moments of hopelessness. That is because we are human. But you get to decide, is that the energy that you want to live in 24/7? Or is that a temporary blip that you acknowledge, accept, and choose to pull yourself out of? And just so we are abundantly clear, I'm not talking about mental health here. Depression, I see you. I'm talking about someone who is mentally healthy, who doesn't have a mental health illness. I'm talking about standard day-to-day life. When you choose to make your 30s the greatest decade of your life, you are not only improving your life for yourself, you're having a positive impact on the people that you surround yourself with. Your vibrancy rubs off on them. Your joy overspills into other people's energy field. Your zest for life becomes contagious. Your increased self-confidence makes other people feel confident in themselves. So if you are someone who thrives on helping others, don't just make your 30s the greatest decade for you. Make your 30s the greatest decade for them too. You know what it's like when you are stood in a supermarket queue and someone smiles, or someone walks down the road to you and says, oh, I love your outfit, or someone stands up on the tube and gives you their seat. You know what it is like when you encounter those positive, happy people who just have some kind of energy about them that makes you feel good by them being their happy, joyful, natural self. Imagine you being that person to strangers on the street. Imagine swapping the road rage for making someone's day by smiling at them and saying hello. You choosing to be a happier, more joyful, more positive person naturally impacts everybody else. And imagine how much happier the world would be if more of us made this effort on a daily basis. But how are you actually going to make your 30s the greatest decade of your life? How are you actually going to do it? The first step is deciding who you're becoming. Here's the thing, you can read all the self-help books, watch all the YouTube videos, listen to all the podcasts, set your goals, make your vision boards, But if you don't decide who you're actually going to become in your 30s, you will stay in the waiting for it to happen energy instead of the making it happen energy. Deciding who you want to be, who you're going to be, will make it easier for you to start acting like that person now. So current you right now might feel like the idea of finding your dream partner is impossible. You might feel sick to death of the apps. If current you goes on one more date where they only talk about themselves or sit at the dinner table picking their nose all night, you might be ready to resign yourself to a life of singledom. But when you decide to be the person who shows up to every date with confidence, with an open mind, with no expectations other than the intention to enjoy yourself on that date, no matter what, the dating app resentment disappears. The hopelessness vanishes. The desire to quit goes. So in practice, instead of, say, turning up to a date wondering, how's this one going to fuck it up? Or with a little bit of resentment lingering from the last bad date, you will naturally be turning up more magnetic, more engaging, more attractive. You will feel more positive, more open, more optimistic about the outcome. There'll be none of this putting pressure on the future faked version that you have created for the date in your mind. Therefore, there'll be less room for disappointment. This will actually help you to connect more with a potential partner. And no, not every date will suddenly be magically incredible. But isn't it better to feel excited about a date, optimistic for your future, open-minded about how the night could go, over resentful, judgmental, or with, let's say, a chip on your shoulder before you even get there? And let me make this very clear. You are not deciding who to become based on how attractive it could make you to someone else, or how much more appealing you might be to a stranger in a bar, or because it will suddenly make everything that you've been desperately trying to manifest just fall into your lap. You're deciding who you're going to become because it makes you feel good. It makes you feel happier. It makes you feel hotter. It makes you make healthier decisions for yourself. This is all about you feeling amazing. You living your best freaking life in your 30s. Think about it. When you choose who you are becoming, everything gets easier because your decisions have a filter. You stop wasting your time on shit that doesn't align with what you want. And you actually feel excited again because you know where you're heading. Not just in your career or relationships, but in how you carry yourself, how you think, how you treat yourself. So this is the first step. Deciding your future identity. Deciding who you're going to become. And don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly how to do this in a way that feels fun, empowering, and totally doable. We start with a mantra. Your mantra is like a shortcut to your future self. It is a phrase that anchors you back into the person that you are choosing to be, especially on the days where you feel lost or behind. Because, spoiler alert, there will still be days that you feel that way. You are human and you cannot expect this decision to just magically change your life overnight. If you haven't guessed it already, my mantra is hot, happy, healthy. I am striving to become the hottest, happiest, healthiest version of myself in my 30s. And FYI, I have a hot, happy, healthy toolkit, which you can download for free in the comments below. Okay, battery died, we're back. Hot to me is about feeling confident and comfortable in my own skin, loving and accepting how my body looks, and feeling attractive to myself. Happy to me is about feeling fulfilled in my work, feeling joyful every day, experiencing gratitude for where I am, socializing with people who fill up my cup, and traveling often. And healthy to me is about feeling strong in my body, being full of energy, sleeping well, having good skin, being able to run around with my niece and nephews, and living in a grounded, peaceful state 90% of the time. This mantra, hot, happy, healthy, is a reminder of the life that I have decided to create for myself and captures the person that I have decided to become. With this mantra in mind, I can make decisions daily that support this idea. For example, on my habit tracking list, each of my intentions supports a different part of this mantra. So drink 2 litres of water and practice breathwork helps me to become healthier. Working out and my skincare routine support my goal of becoming the hottest version of me in my 30s. And catching up with a friend or taking myself on a date ensures I'm happy. You are so welcome to steal my mantra if you are connected to it, or have a think about your own. Your mantra can literally be anything that you want it to. Anything that brings you back to that person that you are choosing to become in your 30s. It could be an I am statement. It could be a quote you heard that resonated with you. It could be a single word that embodies everything you're striving for. Your life, your rules. Once you've got your mantra, dive deeper into the mentality of the person you're becoming. So if it was me, I would ask myself, how does the hottest, happiest, healthiest version of me show up for myself? How does she think, act, feel on a daily basis? What decisions does she make? What does she choose to let go of? What habits does she create? And what habits does she leave behind? How does she show up in conversations? What boundaries does she set for herself? How does she take care of herself? Who does she choose to have in her corner? What standards does she have for her life? You want to build a crystal clear picture of who you're deciding to become in your 30s, because this will actually make it easier for you to start becoming this person now. Remember, we are not in the game of waiting. We're in the game of becoming. Next up, you need to see yourself as this new version. And one of the quickest, most fun ways to lock in this new identity is with a photo shoot. And no, okay, it doesn't have to be like a professional setup. You can prop your phone up, grab a few outfits that make you feel like that version you're becoming, or ask your friend to take some photos, and then you can just have your own little private shoot. I personally love a photo shoot. I've always loved having my photo taken. I had some professional photos taken for the first time when I think I was about 12 or 13, when I was like, I want to be a model, which obviously didn't happen. But I've always loved having my photo taken. I really enjoy the process of it. So at the start of the year, when I was very much ready for a reinvention, I booked a photo shoot. I had decided who I was going to become, and after a long period of grieving the loss of my granddad and taking a break from my business, I wanted to book this shoot to remind me who I was and to really help me step into that next version. So I booked myself the 30-minute photo shoot, and actually the day after I booked it, my nan died, which was obviously horrendous. But I had already explained to the photographer that I needed a day really about me. I'd spent so many months in this terrible headspace that I needed something to get me back to myself, a day where I could just focus on my self-care, on getting ready, and on really embodying this new version of myself, and a moment where I could exist outside of my current reality, almost like stepping into my future reality before I'd even got there. When you see yourself looking confident, fun, magnetic, when you see yourself as that person that you have decided to become, your brain starts to believe it. Those photos then become the proof of the version of you that you are becoming. This makes it so much easier to anchor back into that version on a daily basis. And no, you don't have to show anyone. Obviously, I've shown people because my business is online, but these photos are really just for you. And I get it, like not everybody loves having their photo taken as much as I do, but I promise you, when you get those photos back and you see yourself as future you, you will feel so much more inspired. You'll feel more confident, more motivated, and like a different person. If you are someone who wants to go for a promotion or really sees yourself at a certain level in your career, why not book a photo shoot and get dressed up in the kind of outfits that you will wear when you get that promotion? Why not take those photos as if you've got that job and then create a little graphic for yourself that says, congratulations, Rebecca, you've just been promoted, and stick that somewhere you can see it every day. So again, you're really anchoring into that person that you're choosing to become. And that could work with anything, whatever your goals are, whether you want to become fitter or healthier or be in a relationship. Why don't you hire a male friend to like sit across from dinner with you and pretend that you're on an amazing date? Your friend doesn't have to be in the photo, they could just capture you. That's an amazing idea, and I think I now want to do it for myself. Next up, create a vision board for yourself. A vision board isn't just pretty pictures on Pinterest. It is training your brain to focus on what you want instead of what you lack. Every time you look at it, you are reminding yourself, this is where I'm going, this is who I'm becoming. Now, I'm not one of these people that looks at their vision board every day and then meditates on it. I just create a vision board because I enjoy the process of actually making one. So it's up to you whether you want to do that exercise as well. I actually created a mood board based on who I was becoming before I had my photo shoot. It is something that I did with my photographer, and I found that really empowering because then when I went into the photo shoot, I knew exactly the kind of energy that I wanted to give off. I knew how I wanted to be. I knew that person that I wanted to embody. So you could always do the same with your photographer, or even like do it with a friend. Make it a fun activity. You can use Pinterest, Canva, magazines, and a corkboard, which is actually my favorite method of doing it. Or you could make yourself a vision video, whatever helps you anchor into the version of you that you are becoming. This one is super simple and super effective that you can do it right this moment. Create yourself a playlist on Spotify. Music is one of the fastest ways to shift your state and anchor into an identity. I've actually lost count of the number of playlists that I've got on Spotify because I like to create a new playlist every time I find myself ready for an upgrade. Although when I think about it, I don't actually think I have a hot, happy, healthy one yet. So that is something that I will be needing to do when I have finished filming this video. So when you're creating your playlist, really think about the songs that make you walk taller, the ones that make you dance around your kitchen, the ones that give you that fiery energy, the ones that make you feel confident, and really make you feel like the main character in your life. That is the vibe you want. Then if you're feeling low, press play. When you're celebrating something, press play. When you're getting ready in the morning, press play. When you're on your commute, press play. Whatever you are doing, hit play on that playlist regularly so you are continually anchoring into that person that you are choosing to become in your 30s. I also find that it's nice to have these playlists because then further down the line, when you maybe like in a few years' time and you reflect back on this period of your life, you can put this playlist on and be reminded of where you were. I've got playlists dating back to my travel days, and it's always nice to go back and listen to those and then be reminded of all the incredible memories I have. Okay, finally, your style. This isn't about following trends or buying an entire new wardrobe. It is about asking yourself, what makes me feel like my most confident, magnetic self? What would the hottest, happiest, healthiest version of myself wear on a daily basis? How would the version of myself that I am choosing to become dress for each occasion of my life? Maybe it's a bold red lip, maybe it's a white shirt, maybe it's a certain way you do your hair. Claiming a signature style is your way of saying, this is me, this is how I show up. And every time you put on that new outfit or you do your hair or you wear the red lip, you are stepping into that version of yourself that you are choosing to become. Now you have your practical ways of actually how to step into your future identity. Remember this, you don't have to overhaul your entire life in one go. It is all about those micro shifts that make a difference. So instead of changing everything about you right now, maybe you just start with a new perfume that represents your future self. Maybe it's going for a daily walk. Maybe it's swapping out an old habit for a new, easy to implement one. So for me, if I wanted to focus on becoming hotter, I could start with sitting up straighter each day. If I wanted to focus on becoming happier, I could log off of social media for 30 days. It's currently about 6 weeks and I do not miss it at all. If I wanted to focus on becoming healthier, I could start going for a walk every day. These are tiny little changes that make it easier for you to actually implement and therefore actually stick to when you are working to become this new version of yourself. Baby steps are what get the results. Be the tortoise for the long-lasting change, not the hare. And before you make a decision each day, think about the person that you have decided to become. Would she make this decision? Would she stay in a relationship she's not fully into? Would she take a job that drains her? Would she keep quiet in the meeting? Would she allow other people's judgments to affect her choices? Now, let's be honest, there's obviously more to making your 30s the greatest decade of your life than just simply deciding who you're going to become. So in the next video, I'll be sharing the mindsets you need to break up with immediately to live your hottest, happiest, healthiest life in your 30s. Make sure you're subscribed and I will see you there.